Dacha How, Washa Michael Larson, Washa Nieman Depungu. Hello, everybody. This is Mike Larson from BBC IML, and this is a moment with Mike. So today, every day, I try to every day take my dog out for a hike, a long hike in the woods, and often I'll go somewhere between probably 3 and 7 miles, and try to have my sister's dog along with me too. And today was interesting. I went out to the Chequamegon National Forest up by Lake Owen, which isn't far from here, and it's a beautiful forest. It's semi-arid rainforest around here, so it's very pretty. But we get out and the bugs were terrible. The deer flies were incredible. The mosquitoes were about to carry me off, it seemed like. So it's a 5-mile hike to go the loop out there. And I did it under an hour because I was practically running most of the way to stay ahead of the mosquitoes. And we had gotten a storm this week, so there was lots of trees that had fallen across the trail. And had to jump over those trees and stuff as I'm running. And I learned, back to a story when I was probably 4 or 5 years old. My father took me hunting out in the forest, in the swamp area around our cabin. This is in the middle of the winter, and we were out snowshoe hare hunting, kind of rabbit. Pretty good eating, actually. But went out hunting with him, and all day long I was tripping over stumps and tripping over sticks and falling into the snow. But at 4 or 5 years old, you don't have that far to fall, and it's about 2 feet of snow, so it was a soft landing. But I'd always get up with a smile on my face. I think my father enjoyed that. In fact, he used to say, all he'd see are those 2 blue eyes coming through the forest. But we did that all day long, and seemed to happen more frequently as I got more tired as the day went. But I kept going, enjoyed it very much, following my father. And then towards the end, there was a big stumble and a heap of my father in front of me. He tripped over a tree, a stump, and it made my day. And I got to laugh at him, and he enjoyed that also. But I think to that, and what I learned from that was, to this day, when I'm in the woods, I will step on anything that's in the woods. I will step on that log when I go over it. And the reason I do that, it's not very comfortable. Now I'm 6'2" tall, and if I fall now, it's a long fall, so it isn't too comfortable to go all that way down. I'm not 4 years old anymore and 3 feet tall. So I have learned that you step on all of those sticks. And the reason you do that, I learned the hard way, that if I stepped over them, sometimes I'd trip over them. But if you step on them, your subconscious mind will always lift your other foot over the front foot. So when you step on that log, your foot naturally goes over it and you'll never trip. And that's what I learned in the woods, is that every time I come up on a tree or a branch, I'll step on that tree or branch and then step over it. The subconscious mind does that for us. It's an incredible tool. And that's a conscious effort to use my subconscious mind to protect me and to make the hike more enjoyable. But what I've learned from that is that you can use your subconscious mind in just about anything you do. But you have to have emotion tied to it, because your subconscious mind is driven by emotion. The 3 parts of your brain, the old brain, the middle brain, and the new brain. The old brain has 2 functions. One is acquisition of knowledge, and the other is to protect us, survival mode. And that's fight or flight mode. And then you've got your middle brain, which is your logical brain, and that's where we see value in things. And then you have your new brain, which is your emotional brain. And your conscious mind is only really tied to your old brain. And so your conscious mind doesn't need the rest of it to work. But your subconscious mind needs all of it to work. It needs emotion. So And your subconscious mind is capable of two things, perfectly and abundantly. It can achieve anything. So if you understand how conscious thought works and how emotion is what ties your subconscious mind in, you can relate your subconscious mind and your thoughts will come much faster. And that's why subconscious mind controls motor skills. Your conscious mind can handle about 4 thoughts per second, but your conscious mind or your subconscious mind can do 10 million times that. It's just a remarkable power. It can achieve anything. But that's kind of what I learned from that is understanding that I was tripping all the time when I used conscious thought. But if I turn it into a subconscious thought, where I step on the log each time, then my subconscious mind get my other foot over the top of it, and I'll never trip. And when we are in acquisition mode, we have positive thought. Acquisition mode always is about positive thought. And when we're in positive thought, the whole rest of our brain is involved. Our logical mind and our emotional mind are all involved, and that involves subconscious mind. When we're in survival mode, initially in survival mode, we'll fight. Fighting is an emotional thought, and it still controls your whole mind, and your subconscious can be involved, but that's pain, and everything we do in life is move away from pain and towards pleasure. The first time we'll fight, but if it happens again, we're going to avoid it because we're in survival mode. And when we avoid, that's a negative thought. And you don't involve your whole mind. Then you're just into subconscious thought. You have to subconsciously avoid whatever it is all the time. And that's why we're not as productive. And understanding all of that is the difference between management and leadership. Managing yourself and leading yourself, because management is typically, they like fast results, including ourselves. We want to get fast results. So if we leverage ourselves with something negative, the first thing we're going to do is fight, and that's quick, really fast, because it's subconscious mind helping you. But the next time, if you try the same thing either on yourself, or if you're leading somebody and you try the same thing on them, then they're in flight mode. And now they don't get to use their whole subconscious mind, and the decisions don't come as quickly or at all. But if you are in acquisition mode and you have positive thought, you stay with the emotion. If you do it long enough, your results are actually better than they are in leverage mode, because it shuts off too quick in leverage mode. And that's why in management, the results of management, when a manager comes in, he can get fast results, and he's a hero. But then those lag off after time, and people get disturbed. People will come work for a company because they want to join a team, but they'll leave for personal reasons. And management typically leverages because they love those fast results. The people start to flight them. The first few times it works great, but then they start to flight. And that's why in America, one of our biggest issues with corporations, with businesses, is long-term employees that stick around because they get into flight mode. If we understood how to inspire them so they get into acquisition mode, the growth is a little bit slower at first, but the growth is unlimited because you're using unlimited, infinite subconscious mind instead of the finite conscious mind. So that's a long trip from a walk in the woods, but that was how, tying that to, now I enjoy those walk in those woods much better now because I'm keeping my whole emotional mind in the positive, and I'm in acquisition mode. I learn more when I'm out there. I see more when I'm out there. I have more fun when I'm out there. And I don't trip, I don't fall. When I was tripping or falling or something, then you get into your survival mode, and initially you get a charge out of it, but then you start to fight and you don't really enjoy it that much. So I thank you for joining me tonight. I hope this finds you well. I hope you have a super fantastic evening. If you like what I talk about here, I'd like you to join me every night at 7 o'clock. If I can't do it at 7 o'clock, I will let you know the day before and I'll give you a different time. But normally it would be at 7 o'clock. If there's a subject you'd like me to go over, I'm open to all subjects. Even if we're on here and you have something you might like to ask, go ahead and write out what you'd like to ask. Or you can email me at mike@inspiredmotivatedleadership.com. You can message me on Messenger, or you can put comments right into Inspired Motivated Leadership on Facebook. We also have MJ Design on Facebook and Refined Joy on Facebook. But I thank you for joining me. I see we got Jen and Mario and Evelyn and Lynn. I appreciate it. You guys have a super fantastic evening, and we'll talk soon.